Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Edmund, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Spence.
Good morning, sir.
Whoops, what's going on here?
Ooh,
Oh, geez, what's
the infinity
happening?
camera.
Wait a second. Yeah, that's something. Uh-oh. Why is it doing that? I should have checked it before the show.
I
All
thought
right.
it was
Your presets aren't there?
No, it's something to do. Let's see, display.
But don't worry, everybody. We're not here. Amnon is just with himself. And
We are
Display
AI
3.
generated.
yeah.
Okay, let me see now. All right, that's
Just
more
wants
like
you
it.
to
All right.
focus on yourself.
Yeah.
good morning.
Good morning, Gal. And good morning, Katie.
Morning.
Talk a little more. Let me make sure.
Morning.
Yeah, good. It's
there
working.
we go.
Yeah.
Camera switched over.
And Spence.
Good morning. Good
Another.
morning. Hello. Hello.
Okay, good. It's
Hello.
working.
There we go. Okay.
Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. Yeah, that's because last week the reruns machine crapped out and I had to rebuild it. So the displays apparently, even though it looks okay here, it's not the same number. So instead of 2, I have to use 3.
So you had to
And
rebuild it. And is it still running Windows XP?
no,
Oh, he was
shush.
talking about that earlier. He was lamenting the fact that he had to use Windows 10 to get it to run.
I woke up Tuesday morning and nothing was running. I couldn't hear any noise from the studio because I hear the reruns in the background. So I came in here and it was hung with a blank screen. So I restarted it and it won't restart. And I restarted it again and it won't start. So I got close to listen and I couldn't hear anything. So I got my stethoscope and put it on the machine and I hear click, 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 click. So I said, okay, that's it. The hard drive is gone. Um, so I said, no big deal. I did the backup about 2 months ago, and of course, there's nothing on that machine except vMix, and I mean, very very limited stuff. So it's old, no big deal. 4 hours I spent looking for that drive the clone drive. Couldn't find it. I must have put it somewhere where it was really safe. I was getting so pissed. And finally, I said, okay, never mind. I'm just going to put another drive. And I said, that at least will give me a chance to go to Windows 10, and I don't need to worry about it. So I did, and I installed it, installed some other software and all that. And then on Wednesday afternoon, got in touch with Nick, and Nick connected and configured vMix because he did it in the beginning, and I couldn't figure out how how he did what he did here. So I said, okay, I don't remember how to do this or anything. Let Nick do it. And by Thursday, no, Wednesday evening, everything was up and running, so to speak. We found a few more things. I just found out a couple more things that 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 is happening. It won't let me record over there. It's
Well, let me
probably
ask you this.
yeah.
What will you do when you switch to an SSD? A statoscope won't work anymore.
Yeah, it's true. But I knew it wasn't an SSD. I don't need an SSD there.
Um,
I mean, it's really doesn't. I know, but
yeah.
yeah, I think something is misconfigured on the where and what to do with the recordings, so it is not allowing me to record a backup recording. So, all right, well, figure it out later. But anyway, yeah. So that's what's going. So I'm a little bit
Frazzled?
frazzled. Yeah, frazzled. So what's happening?
Dude, this weather is killing me.
Why are you putting a jacket on? Are you?
Well, because I had to turn on the AC
Oh,
in my house. It's 65 degrees out, which
yeah.
sounds nice, except it's humid as gross.
Yep.
You step outside and you get swamp butt. It's so bad. And I've got 4 3D printers now in my printer room that are going full throttle, and they're at 220 degrees Celsius that they need to be at to melt that plastic. So my upstairs is hot. So I have to like my dad. It's there's like a 20-degree difference between downstairs and upstairs. Pretty insane. I'm thinking of getting like a window unit for my
The
printer.
FBI is going to come through your neighborhood with a infrared scanner and think you have a pot farm growing upstairs.
You joke, and I'm not gonna
I'm not
give any.
joking.
No. I'm saying you joke, but on Thursday, my neighbors were swatted,
Ooh.
and the police did come. And I don't want to give any details because I don't want they're my neighbors, so like I don't want them to
So
come after me.
it was a swatting. It wasn't a real somebody turned them in for no reason.
No, it was for real.
Oh,
The
okay.
person got arrested. So yeah, it was like 5:30 p.m. or whatever. I'm just on the computer finishing up work, and I hear this huge boom, like this. I like it. Oh, it rattled my house. It was so loud, and I was like, "What the heck?" And I looked outside, and there was cops that got out of uh nondescript cars or whatever, and they had Kevlar vests on, and they had their guns drawn, and they were rushing towards the house. And nobody was at the house though, which is weird because my neighbors are always home. So I don't know if they got tipped off or what. But eventually I was talking to my other neighbor, that they did get arrested. So yeah, that was fun.
I had the same thing happen here, real arrest, but they came in like an ambulance size vehicle that was
Yep.
painted black.
Oh,
And they got out literally in, you see how they on TV when they walk in a row, all holding the same
yep.
thing. We were about to go out with some friends who were coming to pick us up. They pull in the driveway and they come in and they say, "What's going on next door?" And the thing was sitting outside, but it wasn't until we left that they went in, and we went around the block again and came around. We saw them with my neighbor basically on the kitchen table being handcuffed. And he was selling cocaine out of his house.
Yeah, apparently my neighbor was selling heroin. So but yeah, the police didn't have a
And
black
you
truck.
didn't know, you see?
No, well, I
Thank
didn't
God.
I didn't know specifically, but I've joked since I've been here that my neighbors have to be drug dealers because there's always somebody at the house. Random cars always pull up, and they don't stay longer than like 10 minutes and then they leave. And so I joke that I live next to drug dealers, and then it turns out I do live next to drug dealers.
So you snitched.
No, don't say that. Don't say that they're gonna come after me. Please don't say that.
Nah, no, I get it, but yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
apparently, from what you're describing, is they did it all wrong because jokingly somebody would have just suspected them.
I mean,
So
they weren't being very discreet. And also too, it's like the people that showed up, like their cars were normal. They weren't like crazy like cars or whatever that, but the people in the cars would always dead eye stare at me. And I'm like, dude, if you were doing something not suspicious, you wouldn't care that I'm walking to my mailbox. Like, but every single person would dead eye stare at me, and I'm like, okay, don't look, don't look, don't look.
Maybe they were
So
all undercover agents who were just trying to lasso these people.
I doubt it. There, well, it could have been, but there was a lot of construction cars, and they were old dudes that would pull up in their work vehicles and then get whatever they got and then drive away.
That's comforting to know that people building houses are impaired all the time.
Yep, yep. Anyways, that was my week. That was exciting.
Yeah, exciting week is
Yep,
fine.
yep. Technology.
Technology. And I'm trying to work on it. I mean, Gal, are you working on something?
no, no,
Can you see how loud it is on? I think the audio is low.
on the live
Yeah,
stream.
I think it's a lot lower than what it was, and I'm trying to figure out. There's nothing changed here. Uh,
I've been dealing with some weirdness on my machine. So this machine is
oh,
2020.
okay.
I
John
just
said it
listened to it. It
sounds
seems
good to
okay.
me. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
it's fine.
Yeah.
okay.
About 7 years old, this machine. The thing is, I don't think it needs to be replaced. Like truly, I mean, I am using it a lot, but I noticed it was slowing down from time to time. Lo and behold,
How do you notice that it's slowing down?
come on, you feel the computer working slow, like switching windows takes
Oh,
10 seconds. Yeah, right.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
slow, like really
oof.
slow. So, and I'm saying, I don't know, something feels odd. I mean, I am using it, but thinking this machine has 32 gigabytes of RAM. It shouldn't have a problem. The problem is it doesn't have 32 gigabytes of RAM. It has only 16,
Uh-oh.
and I'm abusing it like it has 64. So ordered
Oh,
some
speaking
RAM.
of RAM, my
It'll come
RAM's
in tomorrow, and I think that should fix
how much you pay for the
crazy.
RAM?
$100, 110, something like that.
Yeah, same. I just upgraded
Yeah.
mine last weekend to 64, and it's been really great. My I can now do After Effects again on my computer for videos that are longer than 30 seconds.
Yep. Yep. I I have so just the browser. I have probably like 20 extensions, right? And I'm I'm probably crazy, right? Because I'm not saying it's smart, but I cannot live without these extensions, l- like all living together, live working. I'm so used to the way they modify my experience that I really like these extensions. So that's just the browser. Then I have like a couple of apps that are always on, and each of them is eating up memory. And yeah, so I just need some RAM, and RAM isn't that expensive. I mean, yes, I can shell out for the more expensive RAM, the official one that Dell supports and all that, and that'll be, I don't know, $300. But I cross referenced all of the deals that I can find, and there were some decent ones. Couldn't be that way. So hopefully that gives me another year or two on this machine, and then I'll look into replacing it.
So, did you? I guess I didn't save it. Did I send you something about Firefox and extensions?
No, you sent me something
Yeah,
about ZFS and data
yeah.
corruption, and that
I
was a
was There
good
was a
tip.
story that Firefox released last week, about 400 new extensions. They said they opened the floodgates
Oh
with
wow,
extensions. I don't know why
I'll check it out.
I didn't save it. So I was going to say, are you ready for some more extensions?
I
Oh,
mean,
there it
it
is.
sounds
There it
like
is. There it is. There it is.
okay.
There it is. Mozilla is opening the floodgates on extensions for Firefox on Android. Sorry,
Ah, okay.
with hundreds of new add-ons arriving in December. In a blog post, Mozilla explains that Firefox extensions compatible with Android will be openly available to users, with over 400 coming at launch.
That's good.
That launch will arrive on December 14th. Technically, Firefox already supports extensions on Android. However, the library is a bit more limited, as Mozilla details on support page.
A bit. There were like 10.
Well, with this new update, though, Firefox users will get a lot more options, as developers will have to route to port desktop extensions to Android.
That's good. That's good. I wonder one thing the Android doesn't have, and I don't think I'm like ambivalent whether it should have or not, is the um, browsing containers, right? Which on
Yeah.
desktop I cannot live without, but I think on mobile I'm okay. If it I on mobile I actually use two different Firefox browsers. I use the Firefox browser for stuff that I need to log in and stay logged in, stuff like that. And I use they have something called Focus, I think, Firefox Focus, which is basically a private browser. Like whenever you leave it, it it forgets everything, right? Uh, and I use so the Focus one is my default browser. I usually disable Chrome on my Android. So so I have that privacy centric setup already on the mobile.
Hmm.
But there are some extensions that they do not exist there that would make it great on mobile, like the Dark Reader, which is an amazing dark mode modifier for any website. It's just phenomenal in the way it works. It's really really good. So I would love to have it on mobile. Maybe now I can.
Well, maybe you can. But it's interesting that suddenly, boom.
Well, I think it's not that suddenly. It's just they've been they've been working on QAing this for years now. So
Yep.
yeah, interesting.
Yep.
I I,
So,
I don't really get why extensions are late to the game when it comes to mobile browsing on all of the browsers, right?
mhm.
Not just Firefox. Really strange.
So, what about that ZFS?
So what you sent me was an update that ZFS file system um, had in the latest version. In the last two major versions, they provided a fix that apparently did not solve, but circumvented the possible cause of data corruption on the file system. Something that hasn't been that has been reported from time to time, but was never pinpointed. Um, and they finally figured out how to fix it. And not only that, they identified that the issue isn't something new, but one of the newer features is if that's on, then it's more likely to be triggered, the data corruption. So first of all, they issued a fix for that. It seems like another fix is to be expected um, uh, soon. The issue is with the Open ZFS solution. Uh, I wasn't clear if it was Linux only or in general OpenZFS, because OpenZFS is not just a Linux uh, um, solution. It's also for um, other Unix implementations. Uh, so it might
Yeah.
affect. I don't know. It might affect Macs, but I'm not sure.
I would think it'll affect
So
all the Linux distributions, all the
Linux
Unix.
So Linux implementation for sure, because all of the ZFS Linux implementation are based on OpenZFS. I do not know if other FreeBSD solutions. Remember, ZFS uh, was a Solaris development, and one point it became open source, so completely open. So and ported to Linux. So I don't know how this affects long term, but yeah, for now, since Thursday, they understood that whatever fix they provided earlier, uh, they're gonna need to. It's important for older ZFS solutions to upgrade in order to get that fix, because this bug can affect uh, all versions.
Okay.
It's a bummer, but uh, it has been spotted very far and few apart. It's not like a very common issue. Thing to know that there is risk. For example, there is a competitive file system for Linux that works in copy overwrite, which is the method that ZFS works. It's called BetterFS, BTFS, and there that's a file system with known integrity issues, and there's no way of repairing those or fixing those yet. So um, whenever there's comparison of performance and all that, there's always that asterisk next to BTFS, right? uh, it's all fair and well, but there's so many reports about data corruption, right? That you might get a solid machine until it's not, right? And then it craps out. Uh, that does not constitute as a good production file system, right? So um,
Yeah.
I still recommend ZFS. It's still solid as hell.
Um,
So
Gal, do you remember the file system that was kind of dropped because the developer they found, I can't remember, something, he killed his wife or something?
oh, you're talking about Razor FS,
I don't remember.
I think. Yeah. It's the uh the developer was turned out to be a murderer.
Yeah.
He
It was a
murdered his
good,
wife and tried to hide it, tried to cover up.
yeah, it was a good file system, but they dropped it because of because of
Well,
what he did.
nobody picked it up later.
Right.
Um, yeah,
We
it
did.
still exists. You can still download. There are some. I think. Let's see. The latest version. Where's the latest version? Uh, you'll be surprised. There's some work on it, but it's it's not
Nah. No,
not a lot of interest.
I remember a lot of people just dropped it, and and we did too at Delta Force because of what happened with him, not because of the technology. So that would kill any kind of development out
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
So here is this. Razor FS is currently supported
Razor.
on
Yeah.
Linux without quota support. It has been discussed for removal from the Linux kernel since early 2022 due to lack of maintenance upstream and the technical issues inherent in the file system. The file system has basically a date limit, and it cannot work beyond.
Oh.
It cannot contain files beyond 2038 because of the. It's still using 32-bit time stamps and the epoch time of Unix.
Mhm.
So, and in Linux 5.18, it was deprecated and it's marked for obsolescence in Linux 6.6. So in 2025, Razor FS is going to be dropped from the kernel.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that people won't be able to use it anymore, but in order to use it, they'll need to load an external model for it, and it won't be part of the kernel anymore, right?
Yep.
So somebody else will need to maintain that. I guess that will be the death blow for this file system. But yeah,
Yep. All right. Katie,
but that's not true for ZFS.
no, no,
ZFS
no.
is still kicking,
Yeah.
alive, and amazing. And I just wish Windows would work on ZFS. That would be so much. Microsoft, they do have a copy of a rights file system, but you cannot boot from it. It's called I forgot the name. I'll find it in a second. But um it is it is a very good file system, but it's no competition
Right.
to the good ones. Yeah.
Um, Katie, what can you tell us about what's going on with Unity? Did you-
What did they do something else crazy this week? Because I don't know anything
All
other
right.
than
It says,
what they.
according to Reuters, Unity software will eliminate 265 jobs,
Oh yeah,
or 3.8 of its global workforce, as part of a company reset. It will also end an agreement with Peter
Weta.
Jackson's visual effects company, Weta FX.
Yeah. Yeah, so what I know is that they bought Weta, which blew me away because Weta is they're the ones that, like you said, did Lord of the Rings. They did Avatar. Like they do all of the big blockbuster VisFX. And so Unity bought them and they were trying to jump on the hype train that was films that Unreal was I don't know, I'm sure they are, but tapping into that market of using their game engine for real-time VisFX and
Mhm.
movie making. And so Unity was like, "Oh, we got to do that too. Let's buy the biggest company that we can." And they just haven't been able to incorporate it to the point that they want to, I guess, because I haven't heard anything about their VisFX stuff or their movie stuff. And I don't know when they bought them, but it's got to be a few years now. So I'm not surprised that they're letting them go. But I read that Weta's trying to incorporate the employees, the Unity employees, because they're out in New Zealand. So they're trying. I know when people get a job at Weta, they move to New Zealand. So I don't know where they're going to go after that, but I know Weta's trying to incorporate them into the other parts of their business.
Okay.
Mars is next.
Yeah,
They're going to
that's a
open a
big
colony
commitment.
there for development colony.
I have a friend from college that went to go work for Weta, and it's an amazing company. But I always thought like that's it. Like if you get a job out somewhere remote and uh it's something that's so specific, the VisFX industry, and then you get laid off, what are you gonna do? You're gonna have to leave the country to find new work. Or I don't know, maybe New Zealand's booming. I'm ignorant on what the job market is like in New Zealand, but I imagine it's pretty small.
I don't know.
We'll be there in February.
That's cool. Well,
Going on
go stake
yeah,
it out.
yeah. We'll go spend a couple of days before and after the cruise in Auckland.
Where does the cruise leave from?
Auckland. It's a
Oh,
round trip from Auckland. It goes from Auckland to Sydney to Melbourne to Hobart in Australia, and then comes around and stops 6 places in New Zealand. Back to
What? That's sick. How long is that flight to get to?
16 hours.
Gross.
Yeah,
That's so
from
long.
Dallas. So 2 hours, 2.5 hours from here to Dallas. So it's really 18.5 hours
Yeah,
to get
it
there.
took about 16 hours to fly from Detroit to Hong Kong, and I was like, never again.
You
So
got it.
long.
Spence, tell us about Telly.
Oh, Telly. Yes, Telly. It's very interesting. It's somewhat what I expected, but other things that I didn't expect. Just to give an overview, there's an offering now from an outfit, excuse me, called Telly, which will give you essentially a free, specially made 55-inch TV, 4K TV, with an additional smaller screen at the bottom of the stack. The way the stack works is it's got that smaller screen. It's about 8 inches high, about the full width of the of the television, which is 48 inches. Then there's a sound bar, and it's also got a camera, a small camera with a shield there, and then you get up into the regular television. So
What
you
is the
sign up
camera? What is the camera for? Do you know?
video conferencing. It
Okay.
has a built-in Zoom client.
Okay.
I haven't used it yet,
All right. All right.
but
Yes.
so I got on the list for beta trial, and I didn't expect to get called, but I got a notification, asked me a few more questions, and within an hour, I said, "You're confirmed." And it was delivered on Monday. Monday? No, Friday. I'm sorry, December 1st. And it is a gigantic box. It's very heavy. The TV itself weighs 65 pounds
Why?
because it's got all this. It's got ambient lighting built into the back of the TV.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. All
cool.
right. Okay.
So it's got some
Still,
interesting things. But the
still, I
way,
don't get why it's so heavy, but
yeah,
interesting.
it's heavy. Well, the sound bar,
Maybe
it's
the
thick.
sound.
It's not like a thin screen TV. But so you get this thing, what you set it up, it's heavy. What I did was I installed it in one of my bedrooms. It had an open um, space. So it's not really in it's the agreement says that you need to install it in the room that you watch TV most in. Well, I don't have furniture I can even put it on in there yet. So I'm going to make sure that it works the way I expect it to before I use it. But a couple of glitches when you first turn it on, you join the Wi-Fi and you go through configuring some of the settings. And the bottom screen is for menu and for basically bots. It's got a weather bot, news bot, a what does for them? I can't remember what it was
It's
now.
for advertising, I thought.
The only advertising I've seen so far is a small window to the right of the lower screen
Also, it's on the
runs
big
ads.
screen, though.
It does not put it up on the big screen.
Oh, okay.
And it does not actually have any native streaming apps built in. So
That's weird.
yeah, it is. I thought that was the way it was going to work. So it says you can use your own streaming device, and it's 3 HDMI ports, or you can use they send you an Android TV with it, a streaming box, Android TV streaming box to use
So
if you don't have another one.
with the 60-pound box, you still have a small box that you need to
No,
connect that is
no,
an
it
Android
came.
box?
Everything came in the whole big box.
No, he
The
No, what I
means
TV,
mean
it's
is
not
it's
built
not
in.
built into the TV.
no.
Interesting.
So it's
That's an
I
oversight.
know. I was expecting it to be like loaded with apps and all kinds of stuff ready to go. Well, it isn't. So I spent time configuring Fire TV yesterday, and I'm going through the configuration. I get to the point where I'm supposed to configure the CEC controls for
Yeah.
volume. Well, you go to the list in the Fire TV, it's not there. So you don't know who made it for Telly. Obviously,
Yeah.
someone manufactured it. So finally I give up saying this is going to work. I'm going to have to use 2 remotes. But this was what was so surprising to me. The Bluetooth remote that comes with the Telly controls the Fire Stick. the same way the Fire Stick would work.
Well, it does it through HDMI.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
Yes.
it's AC. It could be CEC that's doing it through HDMI through the control circuit. So
I
I
just
didn't. The only thing I don't like about it is, and I don't use the Netflix button on my Fire Stick remote. Don't use it. So everything is there on the Telly remote, which is fine with me. So the hat switch on the Telly remote has the typical, left, right, up, down, and a center button, but it also has above and below that two other smaller buttons that are lit. You push the upper button, you're controlling the upper screen. You push the bottom button, you're controlling the bottom screen. So only got as far as I set up YouTube, I set up uh, Prime Video, and I set up Netflix. I haven't gotten to the other services yet, but I did some testing. There's a main power button on the side, on the right side, just behind the screen, that you can turn everything off. So I got my little kilowatt out to say, all right, what kind of power does this draw? So completely off in standby mode, it draws 16 watts, which seems high to me. That's a lot of power. Yeah. So when you turn it on, you can when you hit the power button, both screens come on. When you when you use the remote power button, the bottom screen stays on all the time. If you don't turn it completely off. So in what is really standby mode, with the bottom screen live, it draws 65 watts. Then when the whole TV is running, it's 240 watts. A lot of
the
power.
whole PC.
It's a lot of power.
It's like a PC with a GPU.
Yes. So that's one thing that's concerning.
It must be an older TV.
You would get, it looks like that too. It's thick. And I don't know why they had to make it so heavy.
Well, I mean, it's not that they had to make it heavy. I'll bet you that they found a manufacturer
who was willing to adapt. Yeah.
So they had a lot of TVs, older ones, and they got a good deal on it.
It's a 4K.
Yeah, but
HDR.
4K it's been around for a while.
But I mean, it's not like there's a whole bunch of old fat, thick 4Ks around. For whatever reason. But they had to have the bottom. Obviously, they had to mate these together in a single chassis. So that when you look at the back, it's not like you see a demarcation point where the TV sits on top of this other thing. It's all one molded back. It's just, and I had pictures of it. I should have.
It's okay.
They're on my phone. I could have used them today, but I'll know more as I play with it some more. But so far, I haven't seen anything that's aside from the power usage. That's a little weird. Sound quality is very good with the it's a sound bar all the time. There is no other audio, so it's the sound bar is built into the television.
But that's okay.
Yeah, no, I don't mind that. No, that's okay. Yeah. I don't mind that.
We know TV's sound is terrible, so that's good. That
my Vizio TV is awful. It's just very tinny. But the ambient light thing is nice. I don't know if they have like a voice sensitive version of it. Maybe they're working on it, or maybe it's there and I just didn't find it yet. But the menu so far is very simple. Go through the setup. You switch the way you switch sources is on the lower screen. There's a series of menu items across the top of the lower screen where you can select music, different things like that. Then you go to inputs. It'll say, HDMI 1, 2, 3. It defaults to HDMI 1 when you turn it on. I don't know if it will remember what I was set on. I haven't tried. I haven't put anything in the other HDMIs yet. I think I'm going to plug in a Roku and maybe a DVD player to the other HDMI just to see how it handles it. But we'll see. I don't like the fact that it's so much power.
Well,
so
put it on a Wi-Fi switch that you can switch on and off. Especially if it's in the bedroom.
Yeah, I could do that. It wouldn't be hard to do.
Yeah.
I mean, 16 watts isn't terrible, but the sneak current on most electronic devices that are is a lot less than that, like 2 or
Come
3
on,
watts.
a 100-watt LED bulb is drawing 16 watts or 9 watts, something like that. Also, for a little bit, yeah, but it's a monitor. It's got a
Yeah,
Yeah, but if it's switched off, it's switched off. Come on.
yeah.
yeah.
When it's off, it's just all it's waiting for is
Well,
to key
that's why the power company tells you that
to check the sneak currents. Yes.
no, there are a lot of devices around the house that you turn off, but
Uh,
they're actually drawing
yes.
a good amount of
Yeah,
electricity and put them
that's why
all
they call it
together. Yeah,
a sneak current.
yeah.
And yeah, so I know I'm aware of that, and that's what this is. You can if you press the power button off to turn everything off, it's still drawing that 16 watts. So
Is
you'd
there
have to
only
unplug it.
is there only one power plug for everything?
Yes.
You need to put Amazon, or I
A
mean,
power, yeah, a smart plug on it.
and use that as the on off.
I wonder
Yeah.
if it's still doing something else in the background that I'm not aware of when they're powered off.
It's listening to you
It's listening to me. But I
and
mean,
it's
is it
watching you.
still is the Wi-Fi still connected? Is there some processor running in the back? Who knows? I don't know.
Well, compare it to a dormant Amazon Echo or
Mhm.
Amazon Echo Dot. See if that's comparable because I'm guessing they supply some sort of assistant as well that you
Well,
can.
this is when I mean, I would expect that to be when I turn it off with the remote and it's in standby. But when I turn it off with the side power button, which is supposed to turn everything off, it turns off the bottom screen. That it would be less, but we'll see. Yeah,
I
I'll
get what
play
you're
around
saying.
with it more. It's
Right.
very vague, but not. I mean, it's not terrible or not bad at all so far. It's just that I don't really. Um, I'm in the beta program. So when I first plugged it in, it did three upgrades to the television because had to be done in order. You couldn't go to the latest firmware without loading the prior firmware. So it was a good 20 minutes or so before it
Yeah.
finished doing everything.
Have you supplied any feedback yet?
No, no, I literally just installed it yesterday. So I plan on it. I was going to contact them about tell me what manufacturer makes your remote or who the manufacturer so I can select a remote so I can get my Amazon Fire Stick remote to work. And now I realize I don't need it. We'll see what happens with Roku if it does the same thing.
Well, I'll
If it,
tell you what. You send them a link of the recorded show later with the timestamp, and you say, "This is my feedback."
it's my feedback. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
there's the
think
feedback.
maybe that's why I got to the head of the beta program because when I filled out the small questionnaire when they pinged me, I said, "Well, I have a lot of computer customers, and we have uh, an internet show about computer technology, and I'd be really interested in seeing, to report back to my customers about this." So maybe that's why.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Who
well, I
knows?
think I did the same, and
Yeah, and didn't happen.
I didn't get
Yeah,
an invite. It doesn't matter.
maybe I'm in the demographic that they didn't have a lot of people for. It's
Maybe.
possible.
They
I
just
don't
all know what
remember
spins.
what I reported about how much TV I watch, and that's probably part of it.
what did you say, Katie?
I just said they fell in love with Spence. Can't resist them.
Oh
The
yeah.
TV companies are like, oh man, he's awesome.
Your mic is got far from your mouth.
What do you mean? It's right here on my face. It's a gaming
Okay,
thingy. It
there
didn't
you
go
go. Now I
anywhere.
can hear you. Yeah.
How do they get such good audio off of people on TV shows like in watching Jeopardy when all they have is a lavalier mic on the side of their collar? How is the sound so good? You don't see boom mics. You don't see a mic on the table, as far as you
Lavalier.
can tell.
That's a question
It's
for
just
Mike.
a good lavalier. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. All right.
And notice they when you go in a TV studio, they check all of your neck jewelry making
Yeah, so
sure that
nothing
it
rubs
won't.
against it. Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes that happens, right, and stuff like that. So
Well, they have shotgun mics that are really good. Maybe they have those, you just don't see them.
No, I
maybe
don't
for
know.
noise, maybe for noise cancellation, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe, but I doubt it.
No, because they zoom out and you don't see anything. Anyway, Plex has some news this week. Made the news. Did you read it? Yeah.
Nope.
Many Plex users were alarmed when they got a week in review email last week that showed them what they and their friends had watched on the popular media server software. Some
Okay.
users are saying that their friends' softcore porn habits are being revealed to them
My
with the
God.
feature, while others are horrified by the potentially invasive nature feature more broadly.
I
Pl-
call bullshit, and I'll explain. This is not new. They've been pushing this for a couple of months, and I'm sure every single user of Plex was presented with a screen asking them about privacy settings and what others can see. Most people, they just, they skim away and they didn't look at the page. So, yeah, if you're watching porn on your Plex, which, trust me, I do not understand why. But if you are watching porn on your Plex and you're sharing with people like
right.
that combination, right? I would I would look at any prompt that the Plex gives you, right? Because that will happen.
I remember like about 2 or 3 weeks ago, every time you start Plex, it said something, and
Yeah, every time you
I
start
didn't
Plex on a place where this didn't show up before, so it's
yeah,
like
and I
it was
said,
in
"What
your
is it?"
face.
And
You cannot disregard this.
I think I said I checked something, but don't show it to me again or something like that. I don't remember. I mean,
Maybe, but
I've got nothing to hide. You can watch whatever you want,
so
and
here's what they're doing, right? I can't say I like it too much, but I don't also hate it. I like the option. I don't think I like the fact that it's switched on by default, but I also get why they switched it on by default. So the Flex has introduced the the Discover
yeah,
uh,
discover together.
feature, the Discover, and this is Discover Together. So the Discover was, you tell us which streaming services you are subscribed to, and whenever you're searching for content, we'll let you know if it's available in those streaming services.
Hmm,
Okay, it does it whether you choose the streaming services or
or
not.
not?
If you just search, okay. So the Discover is basically, I have a way of telling you um, uh, where you can find content that you have access. Otherwise, you will see a list of where that content is available, and you can choose watch there. And so they want to be the central hub where you search for content, any content, not just stuff on your Plex or your friend's Plexes. Like if you want to watch a Netflix show, they want you to they're suggesting search it through us, and we'll show you if it's on Netflix or not. Okay, so they took that feature and did the Discover Together, and then if you watched it, even if you watched it on Netflix through Plex, they know, okay, Gal watched this and this on Netflix. And so when Amnon is going to search for it, it'll show up as Gal watched it also. Or these are your friends who are or have it in their library, or these are your friends who watched it recently. And this creates like a community watching experience. In a way, you take me back, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, beginning of Facebook and social media like YouTube existing. The idea that I will know what my friends are watching is awesome. There are services built on it. Track TV, right? That's the biggest service around that of tracking and sharing viewing experience. You go to the movies, you say I watched it, you give a review. It's a way to share things. So it's their attempt at it. Hitting the news because some idiot watches porn on a shared instance, right? And those libraries are shared with by the way, the only reason to see the stream, right, is because that library is part of the Discover All. So you also need to be exposing yourself extra, right? So if you're an exhibitionist, it's on you. I have not. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So what the story goes, it says is a hybrid streaming service, self-hosted. In addition to offering content that Plex itself has licensed, the service allows users to essentially uh lost it. Essentially roll their own streaming service by making locally downloaded files available to stream over the internet to devices the server admin owns. You can also friend people on Plex and give them access. So this is called now Discover Together. Expands social aspects of Plex and introduces an activity tab. See what your friends have watched, rated, added to their watch list, or shared with you. Plex notes that it also shares this activity in a week in review email that it sent to Plex users and people who have access to their servers. I never get any of these.
because
Good.
you like no, because you like other people. You have unsubscribed for Plex emails long ago. Nobody wants to get email anymore
Yeah. I get ones that come from you about Plex.
because I send them
Oh,
directly to
oh,
you.
yeah,
That's
that's
something
right. Yeah,
completely
yeah,
different.
yes, yes.
Talking about a service. I'm talking about the newsletters. Come on.
Yeah. As long as it works, that's all I wanted to do.
Exactly.
Yep. All right, let's see what else. A lot of us use Zoom. A lot of people lately, in the last few years since the pandemic, use Zoom. So it says feeling especially drained after a day on Zoom is not a figment of your imagination. Video conferencing fatigue, VCF, is real, according to a study penned by a quartet of Austrian investigators. I mean, a whole day on Zoom, geez.
I
Self,
bet
Yeah,
you there's also a study that says being in meetings all day also make you exhausted because that's what Zoom is. It's just
yeah,
meetings all day.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I
Yeah.
mean, it's probably worse with Zoom
self
because you
report.
think talk to teachers who worked doing Zoom. I know they were literally ill from spending all that time in front of just having the tense the stress of being prepared and
It says that self report evidence collected all around the world indicates that VCF is a serious issue. This was written by the authors of a study appearing in Scientific Reports. It's a journal published by Nature Reports. However, most available research on VCF relies on personal accounts of the problem and focuses on the cause rather than the consequences. But I mean, dude, I don't understand. Why would people need to be in a meeting all day? Come on.
None, you would
depends on
be
your job.
surprised.
Ta-
It, it's I've been in not all day meetings, but we have been in like summits and stuff
Yeah.
where they just people are talking and talking and you're getting information and you're making plans. It's just a lot.
I've gone through marathon 1 week training on video conferencing where it's just literally all day where you're in a virtual classroom with other people. It is exhausting. I mean, it's like anything else. You sit in front of a video game all day, you're going to be exhausted.
Yeah,
True.
true.
It's not only that, it's especially with Zoom, there is a very one-sided experience with Zoom compared to sitting in a group of people physically, with a group of people physically. Um, when I'm talking right now, right, you're all, even if you're engulfed in the conversation, you're all tuned out, right? You're not active now.
Right.
So even if you're doing active participation, active listening, you cannot. I mean, Spence can't even tell something to Katie like half ear, like a comment. It needs to be like we're completely isolated while we're doing it, right? So there's that extra layer of I'm not just getting washed by a stream of information. I'm also non-participating, right? Or when I do need to participate, it changes from 0 to 100, right?
Yeah.
Like every one of us is coming out of nowhere when we comment, right? And so
Mhm.
that switch is yeah, that's a tough thing to handle, and yeah, it has an effect on us for
And
sure.
I think
also,
it's kind of against your own way we're built as humans to
Yep.
communicate with each other because you're turning off all the nuances of a conversation are gone.
I
You know,
I also think too, our brains have developed being on computers to be able to split. And on like one hand we're listening to music and then we're searching the web, or we have a YouTube video on in the background and we're doing something else. Like maybe it's the younger generation, but I don't like playing tabletop games like Dungeons and Dragons on the computer because my mind instantly wants to go check YouTube, go check Discord, like go do all these other distractions that if I was in a conference room or in somewhere else, then my attention would be 100% on the meeting. So it's extra exhausting the for me. I mean, maybe I'm undiagnosed ADHD, so that probably doesn't help either.
Mhm.
Like I want to do other stuff at the same time. If all my senses aren't engaged, it's like I have to put in extra effort to pay attention, which is very exhausting.
I don't know. I hear us talking, and we sound like a bunch of wusses that we are all relying on evolution. Come on, like we need to break through evolution.
that's right.
Evolution is just a limit.
We'll have the truck is going to pull up and come and deliver your implant.
Yeah,
I'll tell you right now,
cyborg for the win.
That's it.
Sorry.
this whole time when I'm not talking and you talking about like I'm listening to you guys in the background, I've been working on in After Effects this whole time. So like
Yeah, but you're doing it for computers 2K now, right?
I am.
You
And
see, then it's fine. It's fine.
yeah, but like I can't whenever I'm in meetings because I work remote and nobody from work watch this place. Actually, they know because my camera's on me. I'm always doing something else. Like I cannot just sit there and stare at the camera. Like that's
Well,
torture if I'm not
I
talking.
I noticed that you didn't have enough distractions, and so you added an additional screen right there.
Oh yeah, are you kidding? This baby, this is my what is it called? My drawing tablet, monitor display, whatever. I can draw on it directly. And
Interesting.
if okay, well, we're gonna have I'm gonna do a tangent here. So the competitor or not competitor, the main tablet monitor, I'll turn it on, is Cintiq. And if anybody's in the art world, then they know Cintiq tablets or Wacom. Wacom?
Yeah,
Welcome.
Wacom.
Wacom. Yeah.
That's the brand, sorry. So Wacom makes monitor displays that you can draw on and it's super amazing. They're $2,500. This is not $2,500. This is a Chinese knockoff brand, Huion, Huion, $350. Amazing. Totally worth the price. If anybody's an artist and they want to draw or maybe it's not even just for artists either. Like if people are on tablets and they prefer to use their stylus on a tablet, you can do that on here, use the stylus. And it's just I can't rave enough about how amazing
So
it is.
so what's on the display there? It's basically what's on the screen.
Yeah, it's a monitor. It's an extra monitor. So right now I had Zoom on the side, but I can here. I'll put this is After Effects right here.
Right.
So if I wanted to work in After Effects with the tablet pen, I can just do that. And so it's
Ah, so it's
basically a second monitor.
so it's an extra touch screen with a stylus, basically.
Yeah. Well, it's not touchscreen as in like if I touch this, it's not nothing's gonna happen. You have to have the pen.
Okay,
But
interesting.
amazing.
No, that's
Love it.
good.
You had a Wacom screen for years now.
Oh,
That's
I've had
not the
this.
same one.
No, I've had a Wacom tablet because the
Oh yeah,
tablets
it was a
are
tablet.
I
Yeah.
got it as a gift and it
Yeah.
was at the time $500 and then and the tablet screen is or not is about the size of this.
Hmm.
And when I say tablet, it's not tablet like an iPad. It really is just I like a trackpad. So it's the solid whatever material. And then when you draw on the trackpad, it would move your mouse on the monitor.
Mm.
So and those are great. And I used it for years, but this is like huge, the size of well, here, I'll just hold up. This iPad is an iPad Pro 11, 1, I don't know, whatever. But I hold it up here and you can see how much bigger it is.
Hmm.
So it's amazing. $350. Love it.
Good. As long as it makes you more productive. I mean, even if it
Oh,
was
this is
more
awesome.
expensive, it's worth it.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
thinking my dad is a retired architect. He still sketches. He still has
Oh, get him
some
one.
projects. Yeah.
Yeah, get him one.
My sister, she's an architect. And I know that Wacom screen tablets are really, really expensive.
Oh, they're
Uh,
extremely overpriced.
yeah, yeah.
Now, are they
Well,
good?
they're like they have their brand is like Apple, right? When it comes to
Oh, yeah,
like this
yeah.
top tier, nobody can touch us brand. So
That
yeah,
and don't get me wrong, they're amazing and they're very durable. At least they were when I used them because my university had a ton of them. Like every classroom was full of them, and I used them and they were amazing. But these knockoff companies now they've gotten to the point where it's worth it. And like people like purists will be like, oh well, Cintiq gives you accurate color, 1-to-1
yeah,
color match, whatever. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm not making like who needs to be color matching 1000%. This is good. Like I look at this and I'm like, yeah, that's the color I need. Those are the RGB values. Like what?
Yeah.
It looks good. Don't let people uh uh talk you into buying a $5,000 thing when a $400 one works just fine.
Well, if they work
yeah.
for one of the paint companies, then that won't work for them.
No, but
Maybe.
here's the thing though. We work in an industry that has RGB values.
Yeah.
So if you're working by eye, you're already doing it wrong
Yeah,
because
that's what I
because
was about to say, right? It's like,
yeah,
yes, the screen might have 100% perfect color correction, but my eye doesn't necessarily have
exactly.
that.
That's why, like, if any artist, like, you're already doing it wrong. So, but I can see it how it's frustrating. If somebody's a painter, a digital painter, and they're like, "Oh, this isn't the color I wanted" or whatever. But at that point, that's why they have that option. You can spend the $5,000 to get this antique, or you can get this cheaper version that works just as fine.
Hmm.
Anyways,
Awesome.
All right.
I don't
No,
remember what
really
you guys were
awesome.
talking about, but I just totally sidelined that.
So, who here thinks that uh, Facebook is an evil company?
I don't know if it's evil.
Yeah.
I would say that it's just a capitalist company making money.
It
Like,
has some out of touch management.
Well, Russia has added the spokesman of US technology company Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, to a wanted list, according to an online database maintained by the country's interior ministry. Russian state agency TASS, an independent news outlet, and this had to be an Israeli guy that set up this because an independent news outlet Media Zona first reported, I'm sorry, God, first
Media Zone.
reported that media, what?
It's Media Zone, probably
No, it's not. It's an
in
A at
Russian.
the end.
Yeah. Zone I think the word is almost exactly the same. It just ends with an A in
Well,
zona.
so um, first reported that Meta communication director Andy Stone was included on a list Sunday, last Sunday, weeks after Russian authorities in October classified Meta as a terrorist and extremist organization, opening the way for possible criminal proceedings against Russian residents using its platform. I mean, I don't know what they're trying to do, but there was another story that I don't think I kept that in Russia they passed a law last week banning and making any LGBT persons and organizations criminal. I mean, come
They
on.
started it. They started with this like 6 months to a year before Ukraine war. I remember.
I don't know, but
So like
it's
it's a long time going. Yeah, there's um, um, all of the homophobia
yeah,
in Russian regime right now is terrifying. That's
yeah.
I remember when
Um,
one
live and
of
let
the
live.
Iranian rulers several generations ago was asked, "Well, how do you deal with issues relating to the gay community?" He said, "We don't have any here." That was his
Mm.
answer. I mean, this was on a mainstream U.S. news show, and people were shocked by it, and then they realized, and he was serious because they don't they just throw them off buildings.
Yep.
So
yeah.
Yeah, I saw like a short video online of somebody explaining difference between right wing politics and left wing politics, right? Where sorry, not politics, violence, right wing sourced violence and left wing sourced violence, uh, and uh, and it was about right wing attacking um, who the personal traits, those that cannot be changed, like uh, gender, sexual orientation, things like that, color, color of the skin, and left wing is about ideologies, right? Is about train of thought. Both are violent. Both are attacking. I'm talking just about the fringes where violence exists,
Extreme.
but it's the difference in thought, right? And whenever it goes to these personal traits, there's no way of switching them off. Ideology can change, right? Uh, a Nazi can stop being a Nazi if they choose to, if they adopt a new worldview, right? But black person cannot
Mm.
change his skin color, right?
well, then in
So
that case, then the person who is the extremist has to change.
exactly. I mean, violence is never the answer. I don't think in any case, right? But when these ideologies clash, right? They're about immutable things and variable things, basically, right? And only when you start to reflect on your values and see where they stand, whether they are there or not, that's when you maybe can change them. But yeah,
Oh,
uh, it's disheartening. Uh, I
but
mean, we're
that's
facing this right now in the war with in Israel. So
yeah.
on both sides, by the
Hmm. All right. Who heard about Own Cloud?
own yeah, OwnCloud is a rather well
Yeah.
established let's call it private cloud
Yep.
service that you can install on your own servers. Yeah,
So security researchers are tracking what they say is the mass exploitation of a security vulnerability that makes it possible to take full control of servers running OwnCloud, a
Oh.
widely used open source file sharing server app. The vulnerability, which carries the maximum severity rating of 10, makes it possible to obtain passwords and cryptographic keys, allowing administrative control of a vulnerable server by sending a simple web request to a static URL. OwnCloud officials warned of that last week.
Wow.
Within
Yeah,
4
that's bad.
days of the November 21st disclosure, researchers at security firm Grey Noise said they began observing mass exploitation in their honeypot servers, which masqueraded as vulnerable OwnCloud servers to track attempts to exploit the vulnerability. The number of IP addresses sending the web request has slowly risen since then. At the time this post went live on ours, it had reached 13. That's not much.
How would someone who was trying to exploit this actually discover the cloud?
Forums.
It
Forums. Come on. What do
no,
you mean?
no, well, when I
Oh,
think of own cloud, it's not
scanning.
something that's gonna
Yeah,
be
you
out to the
scan.
general public.
You scan
And,
Well,
oh,
for
no, I realize
ports.
it's internet connected. I understand that. But
it's not
is
only
there
that. The whole idea of OwnCloud is okay, you want your data, you want it to be exposed, right? For use safely when you're outside of your home, outside of
right.
your
No, I
organization.
understand. Well, how
Yeah.
would someone else find out about it? I mean, is it without no unless you have personal contact with somebody you know that they have a cloud.
That's so it's a website, right? So all you need to do is crawl websites until you find an OwnCloud.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
right? I mean,
It's not a
So you
person doing this.
if you go to your router's audit log, if it's turned on, right, you would see, right, port 22 being knocked on every day, multiple times a day,
Hmm.
right?
right.
There's bots that's what they're doing. They're searching for SSH connection.
And
They
that's the question I had was
yeah,
Yeah,
how do these I know
that
that
would be
people
the
find it all the time. I just didn't know how.
they
yeah,
scan
just
for
bots.
open ports,
Well, I
certain
think
ones.
I think I think today they'll do even something different. They will start by basically going through DNS records,
Hmm.
right? And try to focus on DNS records that start
Yeah,
with OwnCloud or files or something like that, right? And just try getting that because you go to the DNS, you see if there's a DNS record like that, and you start you start taking that going through that. So um, another option would be using you know what Let's Encrypt is.
hmm,
So Let's Encrypt provides automatically generated free SSL certificates. Okay, uh, if I use named certificates and not wildcard certificates, then I can query Let's Encrypt and say, give me the names for the domain, give me the certificates for this domain because I want to validate them, right? And in the certificates, there's a list of sites. One of those sites can be a named certificate says files or own. It's another way of
I
something
mean,
to crawl that is publicly available that will give you hints into whether it exists or not. So
I mean, I see a lot of it on one of our web servers where bots are trying to log in to www slash wp dash admin or dash log, and it's this is a WordPress URL that you go,
yeah.
but they're doing it on different websites that don't have such even. They're phishing.
Yeah.
They're all kind of different ways. Yeah. But anyway, to fix the own cloud vulnerability under exploitation, OwnCloud advises users to delete some files and modify a few. And you need to,
Oh
if you are
man.
running it, you need to go and research it and see which ones.
So this is, oh, wow. I'm reading the Ars Technica article,
Yeah.
and it looks that this is due. Amazing. So the vulnerability is probably rather new,
Yeah.
as in probably a year
Oh,
long, not more than that. I mean, like existing in the code, because it is what they are what they are suggesting to remove is get PHP
yeah.
info PHP file from the Microsoft Graph library. So it's just that the library that was downloaded from Microsoft and incorporated into OwnCloud, I am guessing, in order to support third-party connection to external clouds by Microsoft Azure, Microsoft Graph, or doing like a single sign-on with Microsoft accounts. Uh, that probably includes a file that once triggered gives all of the information and gives enough information so you can get the passwords and stuff like that. This is like this is a shit show, and I'm guessing it's not only I'm guessing it's not only OwnCloud that have been affected by this. So this CV is probably specifically for OwnCloud, but I'm guessing it's not just OwnCloud. This is some negligence from other. Wow. Yeah, this is bad.
It's serious. It's really serious.
Yeah, this is. Anyway, if you think that you're running something by OwnCloud, shut it down right now and figure out whether you're exposed or
That's
not.
what I would do. Yeah.
Because yeah, this is scary stuff.
Yep. All right. We were talking about OpenAI and all the problems they were going with, and what's his name Altman was saying, or the company. So the president of tech giant Microsoft said there is no chance of super intelligent artificial intelligence being created within the next 12 months. He was using his crystal ball when he was doing this, I guess.
Yeah, what does he mean? Didn't a few years ago there was a rumor, and I don't know if this is true or if I'm misremembering, that Google or somebody was working on an AI thing. This was before AI blew up, so before COVID, and they had to turn it off because of it was having existential crisis. Um,
Oh, yeah, I remember that because they thought it was becoming self-aware.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What
Ah,
Microsoft
well,
is what?
So what? They killed it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, supposedly, I don't know.
Mm.
so they
Well,
I
think
said
don't know.
about the, so-called worldwide cloning ban on humans. Uh,
they
Doesn't mean it's
said
not happening.
that it cannot be created within the next 12 months. He says
From
within
his
the next
lofty
12
place in
months,
his ivory tower
No,
where
no,
he
no.
knows everything.
and
He's right. It can't be created because it's already created.
and cautioned that the technology could be decades away. OpenAI co-founder
No.
Sam Altman earlier this month was removed as CEO by the company's board of director, but was swiftly reinstated after a weekend of outcry from employees and shareholders. So Reuters last week exclusively reported that the ouster came shortly after researchers had contacted the board, warning of a dangerous discovery they feared could have unintended consequences.
So I'm I'm with the I'm with the notion that we are far, very far from the big, scary artificial intelligence from science fiction. Okay, so I'm along. I don't know if 12 months or years, but we're not there yet. Artificial intelligence today looks very cool and does some very cool things, right? And there are certain experiments which are very, very interesting with artificial intelligence, but we're nowhere in a we're not in this this AI can teach itself how to walk and talk and kill. Okay, we're not there. Um, it's so I'll explain where this is coming from because there are some experiments where you hear them out and they sound amazing. They're the most amazing one that I liked was they gave an AI access to a PayPal or Venmo account or something like that, like some sort of online paying mechanism. Gave it a budget um, and gave it a task. That task was required some physical interaction with the world. Okay, like doing something, by I don't know, going somewhere, doing something in the physical world, and where those gaps were existing, the the AI would reach out to Fiverr and basically commission a work from a human being, right, and paid for it. So you hear that as an anecdote and said that sounds that's no that's too much control, right? It was in a very limited test. Combining all of this into something that will actually work and will work without it crapping on itself before it does anything meaningful. We're not even close. We're playing with I don't have a good analogy, but we're playing with something very, very located, very, very local, very, very small. It does specific things very, very well, but most of outside of that, it sucks. A human being works in a completely different way. Okay, so I am not worried about the risks. I am worried about the ethics, right? Because as long as we are progressing while researching and we are doing it in an ethical way, in such a way that in the long run we're not we were talking today about vulnerabilities that were baked into stuff long ago and are now being used, right? That's the thing. It's when we're thinking about this progressively, we need to start and we need to slow down and think about the implication in the long term when this eventually becomes reality. We're not close to that reality, but we definitely need to keep that reality, right, front and center in our minds as this is where we want to go. And I think that's the part where media also loses because it's not interesting talking about the long term because everybody wants to know what's available now and what will bring us money now, right? And sometimes those are the wrong questions to ask.
Well,
So the Microsoft guy, he's probably right in this term, right? 12 months, we're not going to see a huge change, a huge leap. No AI is going to jump out of the bushes and say, I got you now, right? But but we definitely need to be thinking about the day where AI, where we'll need to ask ourselves, is it okay for us to switch this off or are we killing something, right? Uh
I want to go on record and say that I accept our AI overlords. They are amazing. They're the best. Please don't kill me when there's the purge. I love you guys. You're the best.
good for you, Katie.
Yeah, I'll do whatever you say. I'll change your oil.
so do you think the politics around AI are going to be left wing politics or right wing politics?
Both.
And yeah, they're gonna be AI politics. AI is gonna have. I feel like this is so beyond our understanding that that we can't even predict what they're gonna think about if you're talking
Yeah.
about AI politics. I don't. I like. I don't know. This is the realm of fantasy.
You know, maybe AI politics will have better sense too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I'm pretty sure it will not have common sense.
Who knows?
My son sent me a podcast to listen to by Nate Silver, who is a famous statistician who predicts and pollster, who it's kind of accurate in some ways, some are not. But I haven't listened to all of it yet. I just started listening to it, talking about how AI will be, center stage in a lot of the strategies used for the next election. I'm interested to see what they say.
I'll bet you it will.
Oh, no doubt,
Only
because
because
you'll use it for,
only because it's available.
but just to do research
Yeah.
and to look for trends and all that stuff. It'll be a lot easier now because you can have something go out and search on your behalf,
I've already
and
seen.
develop develop messaging and all that.
Yeah, I've already seen AI being used to fake images for the news, and the news are running with the images as if they were real. And then people are pointing out, like, "Hello, that cat has an extra foot. Like, this is AI. This isn't real."
Yeah. We're gonna have to learn from mistakes that
Go
we're
back
making.
and find a movie called Looker. It's a Michael Crichton movie. You know it, Gal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was.
It's not a
When we
very
talk
good
about,
movie. Let's
no,
be
well,
clear.
it's
Yeah.
old, it's
Yeah.
dated, but it was very far forward thinking about
Yeah.
how the gist of the story was that this guy develops a computer where you can scan somebody's body in and then make a fake video of them speaking. And they actually pick either a presidential candidate or the president himself and make him say, we're gonna launch an attack on Russia now. And it was a good it would be very dated,
It will. We're
but
we're,
it
we're gonna
was,
get there. We're gonna
oh
get to
yeah.
that too. Yeah.
Well, you got all the transhuman people now that want to discard bodies and live inside a machine.
All right. Back at home, Google will start to sweep away cobweb collecting Gmail accounts this week. If you have an email address you haven't touched in a couple of years, it might soon be gone. The tech giant on Friday will start, last Friday, will start deleting personal Google accounts that have remained inactive for at least 2 years. And going forward, it will continue killing accounts that reach 2 years of disuse. Once deleted, the accounts and any items in them cannot be recovered. This could mean the end of personal emails, cherished documents, and candid photos and videos tucked away in old Gmail accounts, Google Drives, and other nooks in Google's servers. So be aware, if you're keeping anything on your Google account that you haven't touched in a long time, there it is. At least like with Skype, when you have credit with Skype, it's good for 6 months. But before it expires, they send you an email and say, hey, your credit is going to be gone in 30 days if you don't use it. So I do is I go to Skype and I make a 2-second call to my phone number, and that's it. It makes it live again until the next time it happens. They are
Well,
not going to do that. Why?
do you need to use the credit, or can you just do a free Skype call?
You cannot freeze it. That's it. If you don't use it,
No, no, no,
it's gone.
no. Do you need to use the credit, or just a free Skype call or chatting within Skype is enough?
No, this is no chatting is not good enough. You have to use the credit to show that you are using it for. And so the way to do it, I mean, it started a few years ago, and I was saying
Yeah,
so.
that sounds like stealing, though.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
they tell you all you have to do is just make a phone call, and that will reinstate it.
yeah, it still sounds like
Yeah,
stealing.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I choose not to use my credits. You gave me that credit. I paid the money.
yeah,
Give me the service, right?
yeah.
But
If I
yeah.
don't do it, I lose all of my $6 and some odd cents that I have on credit with them. But it's the principle. Yeah, you're
Well,
You're
right.
it's the
gonna
same. It's the same with Google. All you need to do is log in. Um, I just don't get why they waited like 15 years to start doing it. Why they didn't
Yeah,
put that feature from the get start. So
yeah,
yeah, it shows that they were never really smart about the business.
yeah. All right, listen to this now. In the busiest shopping center season of the year, it's the busiest shopping center of the year, but one item that doesn't appear to be flying off store shelves is Meta Platforms Quest brand of virtual reality headsets. Guess why? Katie?
Oh, because you need a Facebook account?
Nope.
No, no longer.
Oh
You
yeah,
Nope.
that's
need a
right.
Meta account now.
Part of the
You could
reason
choose.
is that many shoppers aren't comfortable trying one on in a store.
Oh yeah.
The headsets are prone to collect dirt and grime and smear your makeup. During the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic, people were especially resistant to put them on in stores, even though Meta paid to have cleaners on hand to sanitize the headsets between each use. This is coming from a former Meta employee who wasn't authorized to speak publicly and asked not to be identified. But apparently, people are not going to go and try them on.
I don't get why you need to try them on. You either want the experience or not. It
Or
has
you may,
zero to do with trying
or,
them on in the
or,
store.
or you may not know what the experience is, so you want to try it.
Then order them on Amazon and then return it if
Yes,
it
yeah,
doesn't work
that's right.
out. Come on, people.
Now, listen, they're talking about item that doesn't appear to be flying off store shelves.
Yeah.
That's the article is talking about that. Yeah, you just get it from Amazon and forget
The
about it.
reason is the reason is simple. This past 12 months, nobody's been talking about VR,
Yeah,
not in any meaningful way, right? And so the hype is gone. And so grandma and grandpa, they're not interested in buying something for their grandchild. What more? I think the box stated clearly that it's for 13 and above. So you need to be a teen, and the teen will tell you if they want it, right? And so um, there's no real hype around teens with it. If you look online on any YouTube videos, you'll see 30 plus people, 30 plus aged
mhm,
people are the ones playing with it, right? And those who have it already have it. This market right now isn't growing.
Mhm.
The business aspect of it dropped. It was an interest during the pandemic, but once that faded out and all of the remote, everybody's questioning remote work right now.
right.
So VR isn't playing a part
A
there.
big part,
Yeah.
or any
So
part, really.
yeah, everything is slowing down on all of the metaverse front in general. Uh, but I do think that if you go and look at all of VR in general, Quest is still the best selling item because it's the cheapest and it provides value immediately for those who do want to play games with it. And some of the experiences there are quite fun, but it's a singular experience. Sharing is hard, as you said, right? Because of just you know personal hygiene things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's
I'll tell you why they're not selling, and it's not unique to Oculus or Meta. It's because there's no cool games on it, no cool new games. So this is the problem with any console, PlayStation, Xbox. People aren't gonna buy them if the games that they want to play aren't on the unit. So like, that's why Modern Warfare, Call of Duty keeps coming out with a new game every year. It one because they want people to buy the game, but two, it drums up hype and excitement for the game. Oh, well, the only way you can play it is if you have an Xbox or if you have a PlayStation, or at this point you can play it on a PC. But you get what I'm saying? Like if they want to sell Oculus units, nobody's gonna buy the Oculus. The people that have already bought the Oculus just because it's VR have already bought it. But if they want new business and new customers, you have to drive it through entertainment and through game value. They need to come out with a really awesome game that get people excited. And oh, by the way, if you want to play this game, you have to have an Oculus. That's how they sell units. That's why you'll probably see it around the holiday season. Like a PS5 or an Xbox are always paired with a game. Like there's a lot of like I bought a PS4 because it had The Last of Us with us and I really or with it and I really wanted to play The Last of Us. I didn't get it because I wanted a PS4 just to get a PS4. Get it because I wanted to play The Last of Us. And then when I played The Last of Us, I traded in my PS4 for an Oculus. But they need they need to make games that people want to play. New games, and they just don't. It's hard to convince, I guess, creators to do it.
did you
Why?
play in Oculus? Did you play they have the RPG game, so the board game?
What board game?
Okay,
No,
I'll
I
find it
haven't played it.
and I'll ask you about it in a bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, it's not that there's bad games on the Oculus. There's very good games, but with anything to keep making sales, they need to come out with new stuff like every 3 4 months. I mean, just look at Sony, look at Microsoft when they're launching new stuff, like Nintendo when they're launching new games. When Animal Crossing came out, not only did they sell like 60 million units of Animal Crossing, but they sold probably half that switches, which is crazy. And then they started releasing, like I said, those combos where it was an Animal Crossing themed Switch. So if they did like an Oculus, I don't know, what's a really popular game? Like Fallout, if they did like a Fallout themed Oculus, like people would buy the crap out of that.
Well,
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
all right. After 151 years, Popular Science will no longer be available to purchase as a magazine. Kathy
That's a long
Hebert,
time.
the communication director for PopSci owner Recurrent Ventures, says the outlet needs to evolve beyond its magazine product, which publishes its first all digital issue in 2021. This is coming from The Verge. So, no more Popular Science.
Bummer.
Yep, Gown. I used to subscribe to it some years ago.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
But they were around for 150 years. That's crazy. I want to see what their first edition was. What was 150 years ago? It'd be like, oh, ovens or something.
I don't know. But they had a
Electricity.
lot of interesting stuff in there. Let me see something here about we were talking last week about people losing jobs because of AI.
Yeah.
So this article goes, the rapid adoption of AI could reduce wages, but so far it's creating, not destroying jobs, especially for the young and highly skilled. Research published by the European Central Bank showed on last Tuesday. Firms have invested heavily in AI, leaving economists striving to understand the impact on the labor market and driving fears among the wider public for the future of their jobs. At the same time, employers are struggling to find qualified workers despite a recession that would normally ease labor market pressures. In a sample of 16 European countries, the employment share of sectors exposed to AI increased, with low and medium skilled jobs largely unaffected and highly skilled positions getting the biggest boost. So it also cited that neutral to slightly negative impact on earning and said that it could increase. So it's the wages go down because hey, I don't have to pay somebody now to do it. Um it's easier, so if I want to get a job, I need to reduce what I'm asking for it, right?
Mhm.
And that's what it does.
I'm curious. This is probably a trend that's going to change in 6 months. Where,
I mean, who knows?
w- well, what I'm thinking is that so they hire the AI specialists and they still have the previous employees there because they don't know if AI is going to work out. And so when it if it works out, then
Uh-huh.
they'll let go of the people that they needed the AI to replace. If they were a smart business, they'd have that contingency plan. And then if AI doesn't work out, then they can go back to what they were doing before.
Right, but
Well,
Katie, you're first of all, I'm not surprised by the details. I think when we talked about it at the beginning, this is exactly what at least was my point of view. But what you're describing, Katie, is the dynamics of a single business, right? And we're talking about the dynamics of the workforce in general. And in the workforce, I do not think that the effect of AI, at least the AI tools that are out right now, right? They're not going to affect the workforce in any
major.
dire. It, it will affect in major, yes, because it's a new tool to be used,
Yeah.
and you want people to be skillful using it. But remember, those who are going to be skillful using it are the already expert in the field where AI can shorten, right, and make their work a lot more effective. It's not about getting
Productivity.
exactly, it's about productivity. It's not about making an idiot smarter. That won't do. If you're an idiot worker, if you're an unmotivated worker, right, employee, and you're even a business owner, it doesn't really matter, right? And you're betting on AI to do the work instead of you, then you're going to fail because AI is going to fail you. AI isn't perfect. It is far from perfect. It is far from even a mediocre employee, right?
What was the example about a paralegal that it's not going to make the paralegal go away because you still
Right.
have to have somebody who knows what to ask for and then review it before it goes out.
Exactly. And
So
remember, AI isn't creative, not really. It is rehashing existing content,
yes, yes.
I
right?
I think I think it is majorly going to affect it. Not on a one-to-one basis, not on like one AI compared to one employee. I'm thinking of automating tasks. It's where it took maybe 10 people to do data entry for whatever. Maybe instead of 10 people, they get this AI system working with their data and the team goes down from 10 to 5.
So that's a
And
productivity thing.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Hmm.
Those people are getting replaced with the AI. And yes, it still needs people to oversee it and to manage it, but
You know,
it's
you're
But
it's,
to your point, they can process 10 times the data so they
if
can bring in more value.
if they have the desire to do that, hopefully.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're there's under the assumption that by bringing in AI, it will make the work internal faster and more efficient, but that doesn't necessarily correlate to the business expanding and bringing in more work. Because I can see companies all the time invest in something and then they try to get it to work, but then the work's not out there because it for whatever reason, they're too late or something. You know what I mean? Like there's all other kind of factors. But what I'm thinking of is the internally in the employee groups.
So again, if you're looking at the dynamic of a single company, you're probably right. We're going to see shifts like that, right? But when you take it to a larger picture, when that company spins out a bunch of employees, those employees will find a new place rather fast. It is going to increase the need for knowledge employees. It's not going to decrease. That's the thing.
No, I don't think it's gonna decrease knowledgeable employees at
Exactly.
all. I'm just saying that it is gonna have an effect on uh tedious productivity employees that are doing something that now the AI can just replace and do. Which is like it's like the cashiers and being replaced with self checkout.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I
Oh yeah,
refuse
yeah.
using self checkout.
That was exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
what I'm thinking. I mean,
But
I'm
that's not
not I'm
AI,
not
right?
well
No.
no,
Think
but I
about it.
mean, I'm not it, I'm not disagreeing with you. But what I'm saying
You
is
you're
that
bringing
the
another viewpoint, which is good.
yeah, well, what did you say originally? I'm none that what was the original article title said? Because
It's
now
about affecting wages, that the
Yeah.
wages went up instead of down
yeah,
for
yeah.
those who are using AI. Yeah.
Yeah. And my thought was yeah, it makes sense because right now, like you're talking about the skilled labor, this is a very new thing. Companies want to pay a premium to get an expert in. That's why the wages are this is what I think, that the wages are high because who they want to get that expert in. It's not going to affect the other employees yet, so their wages are the same because they're worried. The companies are worried that we're going to test this out and see how it works, fit it into our pipeline, and then when I said 6 months later, when they try to integrate it into their pipeline, if it's successful, then yes, maybe the business expands and they keep the employees or whatever. But on the flip side of that, it could also be we're like, okay, well, now the team doesn't need to be 10 people, it can go down to 5. But they still have those skilled employees because now they're running the show.
I'm not arguing. That's what I'm saying. I'm not arguing with that scenario. That scenario might very well be the way it plays out in some place. What I'm saying is, one, right? In order to be a skilled employee, you need to start at entry level. So the more skilled employees you need, basically the more entry level you will need. And if you're talking about people who are doing the work today for a couple of years, they're already skilled labor. And what they'll need to do is they'll need to adjust. They'll need to learn how to work with the AI tools. Remember, it's always about working with AI tools. It's never AI replacing, right, the employee. That doesn't exist now. And that's part of the conversation that needs to put in the back because that isn't reality. That's science fiction right now.
Really?
Okay, let's
Because my friend, my friend's friend got replaced by AI directly. Like there's an AI company that
No,
they're
it was replaced by an idiot management that thought that AI could do the job
Could
without them,
could
right?
save them
but
money.
how is that any
But they'll
different?
also realize in about 6 months that they are more prone, more open to litigation because nobody knows where the AI got the information. Right, they did a shit move,
Yeah, but they
and
did get
that person,
replaced.
look, that's what I'm saying. You will see point there will be anecdotal details like this that will happen, but that has nothing to do with the effectiveness of AI. If you have idiots managing a company, then you are basically being hit by idiots managing a company, not by AI. Let's be clear here, right? But the overall effect of this, right, in general, is not going to contract the workforce. It's probably going to either normalize across the workforce or expand the workforce because you're still going to need to be entry level. You still need to learn how things work in order to work with AI tools because you're the one who's going to fine tune whatever AI outputs. And that is an important distinction that somehow I feel always is just um, slipping through the fingers of storytelling here
Jo-
of this development.
John in the chat is saying people who work with customers on the phone are at risk. And I can see that a lot of them are going to be replaced by AI. A lot of them, but
That's true.
only the first tier, the first level. I don't think you can replace the second level or in the third level, the
I
experts by AI.
I do have an example of using this. I called a pizza place and they said, "Oh, do you want to talk to a person or do you want to talk to our new automated system? The automated system, you'll get a 10% discount if you use it." And
Yeah.
so I said, "Yeah, sure." And I took my order. It sounded like a regular person. I mean, it was a little bit robotic. But I asked it questions and I was like, "Hey, do you have a discount?" They're like, "Oh yeah, we do have a discount." And then but yeah, that replaced that
Yeah,
person
yeah,
that needed to call.
it could, but I mean, I can't see.
Could it did.
Yeah,
There's
no,
no
I'm
could.
saying it. Okay, it can, and it does, but not for higher level. I mean, with the pizza place, yeah, okay. But I mean, if you're talking about tech stuff, I mean, calling your internet provider. I mean, there are certain things basic that most of the questions are basic when customers call in. But if somebody is having a problem with really how to configure the router, and it is something out of the ordinary, I mean, you can't. It's maybe after a few years they can build up a good database that will solve all the problems. But right now, no, you can't. I don't see how.
And remember, it can't solve all of the problems
Right.
because they keep pushing in new features and
Yes.
fixes, and everything
Correct.
is breaking all the time. We're not
Correct.
there.
Yeah.
We're not there. That's the thing.
It's
It's called nuance.
it's
Yeah.
forever changing. Yeah.
So yeah, it's changing the workforce. It's not changing the workforce for the worse. That's far away. Should we prepare for that day? Yes, we
Yes.
should. I'm not saying we shouldn't, but I'm saying fear mongering isn't the solution either, right? It's understanding how the market works and starting to change our behavior based on that, right? In order to embrace the tools that are being provided.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Adjust.
yep.
Yep. All right. That's it for today, guys. Anything else anybody wants to add?
I wish Nick was here to do the specials. I need to know what
Oh,
more money I need to give our
yeah,
Amazon overlords.
I didn't realize. I mean, he texted me and he said that he was just driving back to Wilmington. He was up here for an event last night. I thought he was saying he was going to stay with us and be here in the studio, but he has something else that he has to do in Wilmington. So he decided just to spend the night somewhere and leave early and drive.
Mm. Well, I'm almost done with the new opener. I got really far
All right.
last week and then I was working on some audio stuff today. So hopefully
Yeah,
next
remember
Sunday.
all the audio I always added in the background.
Well, this time you can't. This time
Yeah, but
it
that
counts as
also
audio.
means that I cannot change it.
No, because it's cool.
Okay, then that's fine. Is it AI?
And I've got no
Oh,
AI makes garbage sound. At
okay.
least the free AI stuff makes garbage sound.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk about it next week. Anything anybody wants to add? Spence?
I'll
Gal?
report back on Telly.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you want to see my cat? done. He's just chilling in my lap.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
He's a sleepy boy.
Mhm.
Expensive warmer.
Yeah. Oh, he was cheap. I got him for free. And so far in vet bills, he's just cost me $100. Not too bad.
All
'Cause
right.
he's a stinky boy.
Gal, anything you want to add?
Nope.
All right. So thanks, guys. Thanks, Gal, Katie, Spence, and good morning, Katie, Hannah, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm. Stop laughing. Dana, Dina, Mati, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov, and Yael. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. And when you do a backup to the drive, remember where you put your backup. Yeah, update your virus scanner and change same passwords wherever you use them. Important. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And again, Mondays through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. Nick is on Wilmington's 980 The Wave and 107.9 FM with his daily news and commentary show. You can tell your Echo device to play 980 The Wave and listen to him live, or you can go later to the recordings at nickcraig.com. And also Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you have to check it on the website. Nick and Brian do the Infection podcast, which is for survival games, gaming news, and some political comments. That's on Twitch. So you can go anytime to twitch.tv/Infection Podcast and find out when the live show is going to be. Have a great week. Enjoy it. And we'll be back next week.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com and DeltaForce.net.